Good evening, all. Ira Epstein of Linn & Associates with your metal market wrap-up for a pretty wild trading day for this Thursday. I'm laughing at it because it was crazy. December 16th, 2022. It was really central bank day today. We saw central banks all over come out. Some surprises. Bank of England raised its interest rate today, went up a quarter point. That was a pretty big interest rate increase. We saw some happen in other banks as well as they're moving. This European Central Bank, no, the European Central Bank decided to say and stay with the idea that inflation is going to come down. They're going to continue with different programs. They're going to cut one program but keep money going into another. Fascinating. And the question is, who's going to be right with all this? Today is also the day where you saw analysts piling in. I was watching Bloomberg most of the day, and I saw analysts coming out saying, no, there'll be no interest rate hikes next year, regardless of what the dot plot says now. Inflation will back off. The economy will weaken just off its normal part because the demand will back off on supply chains, and you will see things fall back. I'm giving you the gist of arguments. It's the end of the year. You're going to hear all this. You're going to hear all the reasons. You're going to hear the projections for what 2022 will do. Let me tell you my problem. It's hard enough getting through tomorrow. I have no idea what a year from now is going to hold. What I do know is it got very wild in stock indices. And today, what you made yesterday, you gave back in a number of them. We're losing some ground tonight in the energy markets. Natural gas down a little bit, actually up a little bit, but a big down day today. You're still under pressure in the Bitcoin market. The silver market and gold, well, you're back up to that 1800 level in gold. This is where it's been having problems, you know that. The silver market, well, it's come alive a little bit, and copper holding nicely in the 430 area. So let's go to the chart action. The battleground as we're coming to the end of the week. At the end of the week, you're up $13. So the market coming off last week's low. This was where you were last Friday. The battleground should be the 18-week average of closes. That number is 1792.30. You're over it by $4, but you're up on the week. That's what I was talking about. That should be your battleground fights. When you look at this, I did an analysis for you the last few days. Let's throw this out. Right here, you tried the downside, came in here, and now going home, you looked pretty bad. I think so. The market looked like it was going to cave in, get under maybe that 1750 area and see what's under this market. That could have been a bad part. And instead, it reverts course on you, comes back up here. You don't know where you're at. It's really that simple. The market's got a lower low, higher high. You're fighting a battle in between coming back all of a sudden in a 24-hour period and getting back over the 18, the 100, the 200-day average, and threatening to finish the week out on a very strong note, ending nothing. You're still as confused as you were. You don't have a trend. You're not breaking out to the downside. The question is there any upside to the market? And why do I say that? Look at the Bollinger Band. 1801.40 is the resistance point. Guess what you hit tonight already? 1801.50, fighting your battle there. 1764, the support zone in the market. You didn't quite hit it. 1753, you were coming there. Now it's 1764. I misspoke on that. I don't know what to do with that market. It's trying to figure out what it wants to be when it grows up. Look at momentum. This has been something for the bull, something for the bear, and I don't think without a trend we can hang our hat on, we know exactly where we're coming from. The gold-silver ratio is suddenly collapsing in, where silver is now gaining on the gold again, and you did that all again today, where you got up and failed at the 18-day average. It all happened so fast. This was where the market was yesterday, Wednesday. This is how you finished today, which means you should go to the 18-day average of closes, and that's what you've done. You've ended this leg of the downside. That's over. Now the question is, as a chartist, what's next? And I can't answer. I can tell you that resistance is formidable at 2349 to 2360. Let's call it that area. Support 2152. Momentum correcting an oversold condition. Now, when you lose a bearish embedded reading, embedded means that you had the numbers here going sideways under 20. When that changes with the close over that, it's often a sign that the market's going to get to the 18-day average, and very important, it's got to rebuild and figure out what the next event is that it wants to do. In the copper market, yesterday was the washout. Today, right back to that 18 and the 100-day average, basically just saying, okay, now what do? You got to 432.15 right to the 18-day average, and you stopped. Not a surprise to me at all. In the process, you've kept, because if you look at today's high, the high here was 433.30. You are still in a downtrend. You haven't taken that high out. That's the important thing. You've got momentum up, bias down, trend down, and you're in a battle zone right where you're at. In the platinum market, you lost the embedded reading. So here's the market on Wednesday. Today's Thursday. You lost it. Well, I expect now prices to go to the 18-day average of closes. We'll see if I'm right, and that's where the game starts again. In the palladium market, you got down to the lower Bollinger Band in a non-embedded event. If you've taken my enhanced Bollinger Band course, that's a short cover area. Now you're just waiting to see what it'll do. You lose the embedded reading, you're probably going to that 18-day average next to try to figure what next. Are we trending? No. You are not, and you've completed a down wave. You've hit a downside target, at least one of them. Is the dollar index going to reverse course and go from the upper Bollinger Band yesterday to the lower one today? What the heck happened? That's the first thing. We're talking you're going to keep raising interest rates, and now people are doing what? They're buying the euro, excuse me, and the other currencies, and they're selling this off. Interesting. Bank of Japan tomorrow comes out with its analysis as to what it's going to do. So this finishes a crazy week where one central bank after the other lining up, trying to figure out on each one of the different banks what they think 2022 is going to bring in terms of inflation, how do they fight it, or no inflation. Transitory, more or less, as we've seen I'm laughing, Turkey, basically fighting it that way. They'll deny, they think lower interest rates gets rid of inflation. And the European Central Bank still sticking right with where they were. They'll give themselves some wiggle room, but if you got to put them into a camp, they're in the camp that thinks that this problem that we're getting from inflation, the supply chain, will end sooner rather than later. And when it does, there's a school of thought, not only them, but others, where's all the demand going to come from? Because you have that pent-up demand to fill those chains. And once you do that, are we back to normal? Are we going to back off a little? I'm hearing a little bit of everything from everyone. It's the end of the year. That's what people get paid to do. They get paid to confuse you. I'm going to try not to. In the mornings at 5:30, 5:40, I want to start you off and be the guy that you come to. Why? I'm going to tell you about the news of the day, what's going on in Asia. I'm going to start you off with what went on in Europe, the U.S., and then I'm going to tell you the reports coming out for the day, the estimates of what they are, how the charts are looking, and if there was anything else. Those are the ideas we start with. Then we're going to look at technical analysis. You're getting fundamental, and you're going to get technical analysis, and we're going to cover approximately 40 charts or more. We're going to look at the technical analysis on dailies. Times we're going to look during the day, during the mornings, on the weeklies, and on the weekend, just weekly charts. The idea there, you have a trade idea. You're able to take this through there. You look at the different categories. There's a scroll bar right here. When you pull it, it lights up. And it tells you the section you're in, so you don't have to look at 20 minutes of video and go, okay, I don't really want to look at all that. You don't have to. I make it simple. How many videos do you think you get? Each one's about 18 to 20 minutes long. You're going to get approximately 6 a week, 24 in a 30-day period. We don't look at it on a month. It's a 30-day period. That's what the subscription is. $7.95. Think you can afford it? To give it a try, and that's what you should do. Start yourself off and say, gee, this does make sense, how I'd want to give it for that. All you do is give us a call or go to our website under the word research right in the top part of the page. click on it. It's all explained right there, and that's where you sign up. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.